Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering BelAir, the series that's currently streaming on Peacock. This is season 4, episode 2. And I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Be sure to like this video. You can also subscribe if you are new. Welcome aboard. And you can go on and leave your comments also. Let's get into this episode. All right, I think this episode, things start heating up. And it was a little bit more exciting, in my opinion, but we can get into it all here. So, at BelAir Academy, it is homecoming week. And people are finding creative ways to ask their significant others to homecoming. But before we get there, of course, what we left off in the last episode is that Will and Carlton had busted up a G-Wagon. So both of them are nervous about a family meeting that's supposed to happen, feeling it's about them smashing up the G-Wagon. Carlton is particularly concerned about the lack of news coverage, but Will dismisses it. Again, they're both relieved at this family meeting that it's about Jeffrey. Aunt Viv announces Jeffrey's return, and Jeffrey assures the kids that they are safe and takes responsibility for what happened to Will. Will struggles with guilt, but Jeffrey tells him that he's a scared little boy, and the guilt is from him not being able to help Jeffrey in that moment. He just ran, as Jeffrey ordered him to do. He's a scared little boy and needs to stay out of it, as their safety is due to his protection. You know that there's always this point, that this thing inside of Will, where he just always wants to prove himself and always takes things too far. We can go over the past few seasons where he's just done it. Just like, you're wanting to be a man and you don't really have all the wherewithal to make it happen. However, I do honor his tenacity. I like the initiative that he does take, though, in spite of how far things go. But he's always there for everyone if he can, and he's going to fight for what he believes. I think once he is able to mature, he'll be able to use everything that he has got and make sure that he makes the right decisions instead of getting himself in deeper trouble. Homecoming proposals. So Lisa is the first one to get her proposal from Will. He booby traps her locker and asks her to go to the homecoming, and of course she says yes. Carlton does it next for Marissa. He doesn't really have that much of the gimmicks. He does it, and Amira sees it. And at that point, Amira is just like, what's really going on? At that point, that's when Carlton says, we really didn't see each other and all that, and I moved on, and I just want to move on. However, two can play at that game. So then Carlton is now set up for when another dude wants to take out Amira. I'm trying to find in the notes. I said Carlton axed out Marissa, but it was actually Marissa that axed out Carlton. My bad. There's something here. Okay. I'm backing up again with this Carlton and Marissa thing. Carlton tries to do damage control with Amira regarding Marissa, attempting to distance himself from his past addiction. However, Amira is then axed to homecoming by another dude named Kareem. First, he threw up this football. Carlton caught it, and he thought it was just something for him. However, there's a message on the football that's asking Amira out to go to homecoming. Carlton's jealousy is evident, despite his earlier attempts to push Amira away. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Carlton. It is interesting that Amira has this sudden popularity in the school. I mean, you are still a nobody, and everybody pretty much respects you. I know a lot of people love fresh meat, but at the same time, it's just like, and fresh meat usually is really pertaining to freshmen, but whatever all that is, I don't know. Now, we're going to get into something that I'm so ready to talk about. Ashley. Ashley is asked to homecoming. Eli sings her a song, and of course, she's in love with that, and she says yes. But her moment is overshadowed by two freshmen who only know her as the sister of Hillary Banks and Carlton Banks, making her feel like she's living in their shadow. Olivia. Remember Olivia? First, was it season one, or no, I think that was season two, where she was being this Karen when they weren't supposed to be having those those books that were by black authors and all that. So, and then last season they became cool and then started dating each other. Now, Olivia, who's at BelAir Academy, sees that Eli and Ashley are together. And she confronts Ashley and starts calling her a flip-flopping little bitch. I said, say what? Olivia weren't first. Who you calling up? As Queen Latifah said. Second, I thought you were the one that broke up with her. So you have a problem because Ashley's trying to figure out her sexuality that just doesn't involve girls. But why do I feel like if Ashley moved on with anything else, you would still have this problem? If she was gone on to be with the girl, I guess there could be further discussions that could be asked with Ashley and what she feels about her sexuality. This year she's with a guy, next year, you know. But that's for Ashley's discovery. She is probably, what, 14, 15? So, yeah. For you to even say that, I said, Lord, it's time to get the Vaseline out, the Timberlands, and get to stomping her. So, Eli, who we already know is non-binary, it may be that way with Ashley. And I think that there needs to be a little bit more time spent on that with Ashley, because in the black culture, definitely, in the black race, we have a problem with anything other than straight. If I'm lying, I'm dying. And I'm going to live. But yeah, we have a problem with anything that's other than straight. Especially a black man cannot be homosexual, can't be bisexual, can't be anything, can't be trans, nothing, none of that. And I think that they are, at least right now, this is only episode 2, are really skimming over that. And let's really discuss sexuality. Now, we're going to move on to a little bit more of what's going on in this high school. So we know that Black Sus is doing very well. Guess who wants in on it? The white folks. The white folks now want to appropriate. We have the return of Connor creating a parody of For Blacks by Blacks merchandise, which angers Will. So instead of black cess, as Will and Carlton have on their merchandise, they got white cess. So basically, they think that they need to be victims too, and they need to be white woke. Y'all ain't never been asleep. Y'all been the superior person forever and a day. Carlton was able to get through to Connor, take it off. His friend wasn't really willing to do all that. So Will attempts to explain to Drew that celebrating blackness is about more than just being black. It's about enduring oppression. Even as there was an argument that was ensuing, the principal breaks up the argument and appearing to the side of Drew. I don't think it was Drew, because Drew is the other black dude that's along with them with black sex. Whomever. Anyways, this leads to an all-school organizations being combined and apparel being banned. Basically, instead of Black Lives Matter, now all lives matter type of situation. However, I think that's just so crazy. So now all these people are like, we need to be included in all of this because we're white. Da, 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 da. But as we already discussed, how blacks have already been ostracized in this world, in this country. And that's why we are celebrating and lifting each other up and needing this for ourselves outside of white superiority or supremacy, as we can call it. So, also in the school, Amira, of course, she's very integrated into the group's dynamics and all that good stuff. Amira is quickly integrated into the school dance team and social circle, which really is, I think, kind of unrealistic to actually happen because it's just like, you just got here. Again, you're so cool. I don't even think that on the height of Carlton or even Will would allow you to be accepted as you are like that. Ashley's coming in and they at least start talking about, ooh, that's Hillary, that's Carlton. They only want to be around her because of the success or the notoriety of Carlton and Hillary. especially for someone who's coming out of rehab. These children aren't people that, now they do have struggles. Do they admit to them? No. Seeing this person go around to everybody, hey, I'm just fresh out of rehab. I'm fresh out of rehab. Da, 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 da. Nah, that's not the norm. And they would try to ostracize her. So it's interesting. Anyways, Lisa warns Amira about Kareem, and he is being an F-boy. But Amira is not concerned. The group then receives notification of all organizations are being combined in an apparel ban from the campus. Lisa suggests that they protest, but Will's like, look, I'm not going to be sitting up here fighting. Every year we got to fight for something. We really need to enjoy ourselves. So what is the solution, Will? He proposes in holding their own homecoming instead. And some would think, well, why don't you just hold it at the banks? Why does everything have to be off of the bank's dime or anything to that nature? One thing, they want to create something of their own and for their own generation. So they're standing up in their own way. So I don't really think that should matter if Will and Carlton and the whole group want something different than that. But obviously, I can see something going down the tailpipe of possibly the whites needing their own thing, even though you have your own thing. It's just, we're not going to be a part of it. So anyways, they host their own Black Sets event that's homecoming for us. They come out and do their little dance, and then they have all the dancers come out. Lisa has joined the dance team because Amir brought something up about Lisa and how she likes to be seen a certain way. And Lisa wants to break that barrier and ends up kind of just falling in line into doing something that she wanted, and she's a part of the dance team. They come out, and it's reminiscent to me with Drumline, with the whole college type dancers and all that they got, the dancing dolls and all that. I thought it was pretty cool. Lisa all of a sudden wanted Will in a bad way, as far as let's have sex. She's doing things that she wouldn't normally do. Even though she did have sex with Will, I think this was first season, up in his bedroom. But to do it somewhere in the public area. Anyways, votes were tallied in as to whom was going to be a prom king and queen. And guess who it is? Will and Lisa. While they're kind of just undressed, they got to hurry up and dress themselves back up. Of course, everything ain't together, and everyone figured out that they were smashing in the back. Also, Miss Ashley, she comes, and she brings alcohol with her that she took from the bank's home. I said, Lord Jesus. So they're getting on her a little bit, Will and Carlton. Of course, they just can't really be that disciplinarian on her like that, but it's just like, girl, what are you doing? And she acts like it's just no big thing at all that she should be doing this. Yeah, Lisa wants to be a bad girl. Yeah, I did talk about that. So at this point, did we talk about Uncle Phil and Jeffrey? At this point, Uncle Phil was like, no, we're not going to be able to do all this stuff. I'm not going to have my business laundering money for you guys. And he said, you really don't have a choice. Was it this episode? Yeah. When Phil and Viv, they got back home and saw that their home was ransacked. Then they were serious. Okay, I guess we got to give in and do what needs to be done for the safety of our children and all that. How many feel like it was a Jeffrey thing? Like he set that up to make sure that Phil would fall in line to help him out. I thought it was, first I thought that it was just kind of like, Jeffrey, like, why aren't you trying to make them do this? Basically, in the beginning, like, look, you have no choice. You got to do this. It felt like you were now setting them up by making them fall in line, in my opinion. Anyways, we meet Jeffrey's sister. She is over the organization. Jeffrey's sister, they're half brother and sister. And it is played by Uncle Phil's real wife. She was also seen on Power Ghost, and I can't even remember her name, but she was played for seasons 3 and 4. The other drug kingpin person, I can't even remember her name. But yeah, I already saw that casting, and it was just cool. But that's Uncle Phil's real wife. So, of course, Phil gave in and said, look, if we're going to do any of this stuff, it's going to have to be on my terms. Now, I don't know how the terms are going to be, but whatever. We shall see. But she said since she brings up that someone damaged her car or one of the vehicles. So she had to take matters into her own hands. At the end of the episode, we see that policeman, she has friends on the police squad, and she had the policeman go to Black Success event and arrest Will and Carlton. So things just get a little bit more muddier, and we got to see how that goes. But yeah, how y'all feel about? So in regards to even Ashley and Olivia, I didn't think I really touched too far on that. What happened is that the girl ended up harassing Ashley some more about being a flip-floppy, and her and Olivia started tussling. I mean, Olivia and Ashley started tussling, rightfully so. And I said, get her, because what are you talking about? Again, you did break up with me, so I don't know why you are that upset. But yeah, Viv is not too happy with Ashley as far as even fighting. She kind of just puts all the responsibility on Ashley. I'm like, Aunt Viv, I don't think you should do that. Like, no, don't do that to her. She did not, it was not warranted for Ashley to actually do that. Now, as far as stealing alcohol, yeah, but she's not even feeling any type of remorse at this point. But we shall see in episode 3. But tell me your thoughts. You know, Hillary's missing in action. This whole thing with Will and Carlton getting arrested. I was thinking if it was going to be a thing like, remember when Will and Carlton got arrested in like season 1 or season 2, where they were profiled and had to spend a night in jail, all because they didn't understand, the police didn't understand why they were riding in this expensive car until Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv came to get them out of jail. I kind of was wondering if that was going to be the thing. And did y'all see Carlton do the Carlton dance? Yes, Carlton. Yes, do that dance. I thought that was cool. But anyways, that's all I have for this episode. Give me your thoughts. Please like this video, subscribe, and until the next one, peace.